Dear readers, let me start with a question. Do you know who the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize in Literature was? The answer is Tagore. Today we will talk about Tagore's work. Some people have told me not to discuss poetry because it's too niche, but I have a different view. Sometimes the times do not please us, so people invent music, poetry, and art to please themselves, to calm down, and to experience beauty and immortality. This is very important. Let's have a simple ritual here to wish ourselves a wonderful year. Whether you are on the road, in action, or lying in bed, it doesn't matter. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's have a conversation with Tagore. Here is a short poem. Who are you, reader, reading my poems 100 years hence? I cannot send you one single flower from this wealth of the spring, one single streak of gold from yonder clouds. Open your doors and look abroad. From your blossoming garden, gather fragrant memories of the vanished flowers of 100 years before. In the joy of your heart, may you feel the living joy that sang one spring morning, sending its glad voice across 100 years. Poetry is meant to be felt. The gentle and joyous emotions of the author can defy time, crossing long spans of time to bring us happiness and warmth even 100 years later. The author of this poem is Tagore. Tagore is the first bloom of Asian literature to flourish on the world stage. When we talk about Asian literature today, readers might think more about China, Japan, and Korea. In the global literary scene, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean literature has increasingly gained influence. For instance, Mo Yan from China won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Japan has authors like Yasunari Kawabata, Japanese-born British writer Kazuo Ishiguro, and also notable writers such as Junichiro Tanizaki, Yukio Mishima, Osamu Dazai, and Haruki Murakami, who are all striving towards this prestigious award. Recently, South Korea's Han Kang became the first Asian author to win the highest British literary award, the Booker Prize. However, if we look back 100 years, the global prominence of Asian literature was not what it is today. The first bloom of Asian literature on the world stage did not emerge from China, Japan, or Korea, but from India, represented by Rabindranath Tagore. Let's turn back to 1913, a high point for Asian literature. That year, at the age of 52, Tagore won the Nobel Prize in Literature for his poetry collection, Gitanjali. Over 100 years have passed, but Tagore's literature still influences people around the world. I have many versions and translations of his poetry on my own bookshelf. Maybe many of you haven't read Tagore's works systematically, but you've likely heard his name and been touched by his poetry, such as, "The world has kissed my soul with its pain, asking for its return in songs," or "Let life be beautiful like summer flowers and death like autumn leaves." If you have heard these lines, leave us a message about how they touched you at the time. These verses are from Tagore's pen. In the Nobel Prize in Literature's award citation, the entire jury praised Tagore, stating, "The poet, in a perfect manner, integrates his own thoughts with those of others into a harmonious whole. His poetry is harmonious in its rhythm, possessing both the feminine beauty of subtlety and the masculine beauty of prose. His choice of words and sentence structures are meticulously crafted, reflecting classical elegance, while borrowing expressions from an alien language. These traits endow his work with extraordinary originality, yet also render the translation of his works more challenging. Yes, this is Tagore's unshakable charm. He is a remarkably formidable writer. Why use the term formidable? Do you know how many works Tagore wrote? In 2016, marking the 155th anniversary of Tagore's birth, the People's Publishing House released the complete work collection of Tagore. Do you know how many volumes that collection comprises? It's like a range of mountains before you, 33 volumes in total, with 16 million words. Have you ever thought about what 16 million words means? We've discussed to live, right? Its length is 80,000 words. We've also talked about Ordinary World, which is over 1 million words. If Tagore's complete works were printed, it would be like stacking 200 copies of To Live Here. That's truly a body of work that exceeds his height. Not only was he prolific in quantity, but his writing was also incredibly diverse. Tagore was a versatile and productive artist. Throughout his life, he created 65 volumes of poetry, over 80 plays, 96 short stories, 15 novels, and a vast array of essays, travelogues, letters, diaries, and current affairs commentary. Additionally, he composed over 2,000 songs. Consider this. If you had to transcribe 16 million words without creating anything new, just copying, imagine how much time it would take. Tagore was a person of immense discipline, capable of enduring solitude, and truly passionate. As the years have polished his work, these qualities have only grown more radiant. Today, as we delve into Tagore and explore his world, we must first acknowledge his primary identity, the poet. Many critics say that poets are the children of humanity, for they are innocent, kind, and imaginative. Among these poets, Tagore stands out as an angelic child. His writings resemble the innocent and radiant face of an angel. When you read his poetry, you feel less stressed and anxious, and it doesn't come across as dry or mundane. Instead, you find comfort, relaxation, an understanding of the meaning of everything, and a true sense of love. A critic once remarked on why Tagore's works remain so popular and continue to captivate people worldwide. Part of it lies in his exceptionally high ideals, and another part in the literary solemnity and beauty of his work. Beauty is indeed a powerful force. It allows us to recognize one another and connect deeply. Over the past century, Tagore has garnered a significant readership in China. The roster of translators alone is impressive. Names like Chen Duxiu, Zheng Zhenduo, Bing Xin, Liu Banong, Zhao Jingshen, Wang Duqing, Feng Jingxin, and Ying Ruocheng, among others, who have all translated Tagore's works. Even today, many who read or have heard of Tagore might feel their understanding is not comprehensive. Let me share a few lesser-known facts. Everyone knows that Tagore was Indian, but not many realize he was from the Bengali ethnic group in India. Therefore, his language was not Hindi, but Bengali, the language of the Bengal tiger's homeland. A retired professor of Hindi from Peking University once said that he was deeply captivated by Tagore's poetry during his high school years and resolved to learn Tagore's language. At that time, he knew Tagore was Indian, so he unhesitatingly chose Hindi as his major for the college entrance exam. It was only after entering university that he discovered Tagore was from the Bengali ethnic group, and thus did not speak Hindi. Quite an interesting twist. Today, at this special moment, we will delve into Tagore's works, focusing on two of his important collections, Stray Birds and The Crescent Moon.